All living things are made of cells. They are the basic building blocks, if you will. But naturally, the closer you look, the more you see. Now, this is a generic drawing of an animal cell. It is circular, a bit like a fried egg or an eye. You need to be able to label an animal cell and say what the function or job is for each labelled part. The outer line is called the cell membrane, and it controls the entry and exit of substances in and out of the cell. Think of it a bit like a bouncer outside a club letting certain people in and out. The smaller circle is called the nucleus. The nucleus controls the activities of the cell and contains genetic material called DNA. Some people like to think of the nucleus as the supercomputer of the cell. The space between the cell membrane and the nucleus is called the cytoplasm, and this is where most chemical reactions take place. The smaller tic-tac shaped things in the cytoplasm are called the mitochondria, and this is the site of aerobic respiration. Personally, as a teacher, I don't really like the phrase powerhouse of the cell, so let's stick with this good answer, the site of aerobic respiration. Of course, the structure of a cell in reality is more complicated than this, but this is all you're required to know for your WJEC exam. And remember, this is the board of simplified facts. Now, a good rule of thumb is that a generic plant cell will look more rectangular in shape compared to an animal cell. And it does share some common features with the animal cell, such as the nucleus, the cytoplasm, and the mitochondria, and of course the cell membrane. But notice, there is an extra layer outside the cell membrane, called the cell wall. The cell wall is made of cellulose, which provides structural support for the cell. Animal cells do not have cell walls. Another feature of plant cells are these green parts called chloroplasts. They contain a pigment called chlorophyll, and this is where photosynthesis takes place in a plant. So the chloroplasts are the site of photosynthesis. Now remember, this is a generic plant cell. In a later lesson, you will realise that some specialised plant cells don't have chloroplasts, like the ones you'll find below the ground. The larger blob you can see in a plant cell is called the vacuole. It contains a sugary solution called sap. It fills with water and then presses against the cell wall, making the cell firm. A scientific word for this firmness is called turgid. Now, when you don't water a plant, the vacuole will shrink away from the cell walls and cause the plant to wilt. When you rewater the plant, hopefully the vacuoles fill with water again and your plant starts to look a lot healthier. You should now be able to label and state the function of each part of the animal and plant cell. In the next lesson, we will take a closer look at how to prepare an animal and plant cell so they can be viewed using a light microscope.